This morning we hear the sutra on the better way to be alone. There are many sutras on that subject, how to live alone. Because in the time of Buddha, he encouraged the monks to practice solitude, to live alone. But that does not mean that he wanted us to abandon society, abandon friends, and so on. So there was a monk who misunderstood the teaching. So he tried to do everything alone. He went to the alms round alone. He walked, he did walking meditation alone. He sat down and eat alone. He practiced sitting meditation alone. He tried to avoid other monks and so on. He really tried hard to be alone. And other monks saw that there is something wrong in that kind of behavior, because the monk seems to be proud of the fact that he was able to practice living alone. So some of the monks went to the Buddha and reported that there is such a monk who practiced like that and who claimed to be practicing the Buddha's teaching on solitude. So that day the Buddha asked his attendant to call that monk. We don't know the name of that monk because in the sutra they refer to him as Thera. Thera means the venerable. I think they don't want to record his name. And when the monk Thera came, the Buddha asked him to sit down and asked him whether he liked to practice living alone. And he said, yes. The Buddha said, how do you do it? Please tell us. So the monk said that, well, I went to the village and for the alms round alone. I don't go with other monks. I eat my lunch alone. I practice sitting meditation alone. I do walking meditation alone. I wash my clothes alone. I try to do everything alone. The Buddha said that yes, you are practicing to be alone, but I have another way of living alone that is much better, and I will tell you. After that, he taught the sutra on the better way to live alone, because there are ways to live alone better than the way that monk did. And to live alone means not to have a second person in you. And that second is maybe the object of your desire, the object of your craving, the idea of happiness you have. To live alone is to be completely satisfied with the here and the now, and you are not looking for anything else. You go back to the present moment and you recognize that happiness is possible there in that moment. Joy, peace, love, everything is possible in the present moment. And you don't need to run anymore searching for something. And that is the true teaching of aimlessness. You do not put in front of you an object and run after that. Whether that is a fame or profit, social recognition, or sensual pleasures. And to live alone means you have the sense of fulfillment. You can be happy right in the here and the now. because there are so many conditions of happiness that are already available, and you don't need to run into the future searching for more conditions of happiness. So you have to understand the teaching of the Buddha on that sutra in that light, and not practice like the other monk try to avoid people. Even if you go to the mountain and stay alone, but you still long for something, you still search for something, you are not alone. This morning when I climb with you on hills, I practice arriving with every step, and I have arrived is the deepest kind of practice, the most beautiful Dhamma talk that you can give. It means that every breath helps you to arrive in the here and the now with satisfaction and fulfillment. And every step helps you to arrive in the here and the now. And you can feel a sense of fulfillment, happiness. You don't need to run anymore to search for something else. In this practice, we know that enlightenment, happiness, joy, the kingdom of God, the pure land of the Buddha are all available in the here and the now. You need only to wake up in order to touch the happiness, to touch peace, to touch the kingdom of God, to touch the pure land of the Buddha in the here and the now. Doing walking meditation, we might begin by making 3 steps while breathing in. And you may say, I have arrived. And if you do well, and then you can arrive with every step. You arrive in the here and the now with every step. But that is a challenge, because we all have the habit of running, and that habit of running might have been transmitted to us by our parents, our ancestors. The habit of running, and that habit is born from the belief that happiness is not possible now and here. You have to go into the future and search for more conditions of happiness. And since it has become a habit, it is pushing us. Even if we don't want to run, we still run. And that is why we need a kind of insight in order to really stop the running. Every time the habit, energy of running manifests, we must recognize it. Hello there, my habit, energy of running, I know you. And if you can recognize the habit, and then it cannot push you anymore. That is the practice of recognizing. You, with mindfulness, you recognize your habit. And we have so many kinds of habits that push us to do and to say things that we don't want to do or to say. And intellectually, we know very well that doing such a thing will create suffering to us and to the other person. Saying such a thing will cause suffering to us and to the other person. And yet, when the moment comes, we still say it, we still do it, and create suffering for us and for the other person, and then we regret. We said, how come that I already know that I should not say something like that, that I should not do something like that, and yet I still do it, I still say it. And you conclude that the habit energy is stronger than you. And that is why the practice of mindfulness is to recognize habit energy. So walking meditation is a way to train us to live deeply every moment of our daily life and enjoy every moment that is given to us to live. 1 hour has 60 minutes, 1 minute has 60 seconds, and every second, every minute is a jewel. And yet we don't profit from them. We allow anger and fear and worries to take over, and we do not have the capacity to enjoy the minutes and the seconds that are given us to live. And that is why walking meditation is a very effective way in order for us to learn how to come back to the present moment and live deeply every moment of our daily life. So when I begin in front of the meditation hall, I took one in breath and I make 3 steps. I have arrived, I have arrived, I have arrived. And because I have practice, I have the habit of practice, I can arrive 100% with each step. That's a good habit. If you are a beginner in the practice, you might challenge yourself. You go alone in one place and you practice slow walking meditation. You breathe in and you take only 1 step. And you try to arrive in the here and the now with only 1 step. You might arrive only 20%, 40%. That's not enough. And you are not satisfied with that. So you don't take another step. You just stay in that position and breathe out and breathe in again. This time you might arrive 60% or 70%. But if you are not satisfied, don't make another step. Just stay in that position and breathe in again and try to arrive again 100%. And you don't need someone or a Buddha to tell you whether you have arrived 100%. You know it. And when you have arrived 100%, and then you should smile, a smile of victory, and make another step. And that is a slow walking meditation. You can begin by yourself alone, because if you do that in the crowd, you create So I begin with 3 steps. I have arrived, I have arrived. And I enjoy every step. Because when you have already arrived, you touch the wonders of life. First of all, your body. And then Mother Earth. And each step like that can nourish you and heal you. And help nourish Mother Earth and heal Mother Earth also. Because we are part of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is inside of us. And that is going back to our source. You go back to the source with every breath and every step. And when I breathe out, I make 5 steps. Because usually our out breath is longer than our in breath. So the rhythm I use is 3-5. I have arrive, I'm home, and I enjoy home. My home is in the here and the now. And that is the meaning of the teaching this morning. The sutra on the better way to be alone. You touch your true home with every moment. You don't have to go and look for your true home. Your true home is in every step. Because the past is already gone, the future is not yet there. There's only one moment where life is really available, and that is the present moment. And touching the present moment, you touch the here, and you touch all the wonders of life. And you touch the kingdom of God. You touch the pure land of the Buddha. I have found out that the kingdom of God is available on earth. And you don't need to go anywhere. Spiritually, you don't need to die in order to go to the kingdom. You have to be very alive. And in order to be alive, mindful breathing is very helpful. When you focus your attention on your in-breath and breathe in, you bring your mind home to your body. Because usually in our daily life, our body may be there, but our mind is not there. Locked in the past or in the future or in our projects and worries. Lost in our attempt to do something. When you spend 2 hours with your computer, you completely forget that you have a body. And when body is not with mind, you are not truly there in the here and the now and live your life. That is why a bell of mindfulness helps you to go home and touch again life and all the wonders. And that is the kingdom of God. This flower, to me, it belongs to the kingdom of God. And with enough mindfulness and concentration, you can touch the kingdom of God in the flower. It belongs to the kingdom. And your body is a flower. Your body belongs to the kingdom of God. It's a wonder.